The conflict in eastern DRC is neither new nor is it too difficult to understand. Rwanda's security concerns stem from the continued presence of the FDLR. Its genocide ideology has been spread to other armed groups, which also target Congolese, Tutsi, and other communities. A signed peace agreement should bind all parties equally. Rwanda faces an impossible choice to either tolerate the continued presence of the FDLR and its growing network of militias and allow them to grow closer to our border, or to defend ourselves and be condemned for it. Rwanda is ready to lift its defensive measures in tandem with the DRC fulfilling its obligations under the Washington Accords.
Inshuti bakunzi ba Mama Rwagasabo TV, turi muri Kigali Convention Center ahari kubera igikorwa ngaruka mwaka. Ni igikorwa cya diplomatic dinner aho umukuru w'igihugu ndetse n'umufasha we nyakubahwa Jeannette Kagame bahura n'abadiplomate batandukanye ndetse n'ibindi byiciro n'inshuti z'u Rwanda bagasangira kanareba aho igihugu kigeze. Ni muri iyo gahunda rero tumaze kumva ijambo ry'umukuru w'igihugu ariko ryabanjirijwe n'uhagarariye abadiplomate ari we ambasaderi wa Zimbabwe, uwo ni Professor Charity Manyekure, akaba ari we wavuze mu izina rya bagenzi be. Yagarutse ashima u Rwanda uruhare rugira mu guteza imbere ibikorwa bya diplomasi, mu kwakirana na yombi abarugana, mu gufungura imiryango mu bakeneye gufungura ambasade mu Rwanda, ndetse anitsa ku bikorwa by'indashyikirwa bigenda bikorwa n'u Rwanda, harimo nka gahunda yo kwita izina, harimo kuba u Rwanda rwarakiye irushanwa ry'isi ry'amagare. Agaruka ku bikorwa bitandukanye bigenda bikorwa n'u Rwanda, ashima ko ari intambwe ikomeje guterwa kandi bazakomeza gufatanya ku ruhande rw'abadiplomasi n'ibindi bihugu. Ahangaha akaba yavuze ko bizakorwa mu bumwe n'ubwuzuzanye. Ni mu gihe nyakubahwa Perezida wa Repubulika Paul Kagame yagarutse ku ishusho y'igihugu n'imibanire n'ibindi bihugu, avuga ko u Rwanda ruzakomeza guha agaciro imibanire myiza n'ibindi bihugu, ariko ntibyamubujije gukomoza ku bibazo by'umutekano, ikibazo kiri mu burasirazuba bwa Kongo, aho yagarutse ku mutekano, areba uburyo FDLR bikiri ikibazo muri aka karere ndetse bikiri ikibazo gikomeye ku mutekano w'u Rwanda, aho yavuze ko ingamba z'ubwirinzi u Rwanda rutarizigera ruzireka kubera ko ariho ruzingiye. U Rwanda haba mu mateka, haba n'imiterere mu buryo bwa geography cyangwa se bw'imiterere mu buryo karemano, bafite ibikomeye bituma basigasira umutekano wabwo. Akavuga ko FDLR yahawe intebe muri Repubulika Iharanira Demokarasi ya Kongo, akavuga ko kiriya gihugu kibafasha mu buryo bumwe cyangwa ubundi, bityo kuba FDLR itemera kurandurwa nk'uko bikubiye mu masezerano basinyiye i Washington mu mpande zombi, ari naho avuga ko Washington ireba ishyirwa mu bikorwa ry'ayo masezerano, akaba harebwa uruhande rumwe ari uburyo butashimishije u Rwanda. Akavuga ko amasezerano yasinywe na babiri hagati y'umuhuza umwe hareba ishyirwa mu bikorwa ku mpande zose. Avuga ko rero ibyo batazakomeza kubireberera, ahubwo mu gihe ibyasinyiwe i Washington byashyirwa mu bikorwa, u Rwanda ruhora rwiteguye kujya mu mujyo w'ibyifuza, kubera ko ruharanira amahoro kandi rugaharanira amahoro arambye mu ngeri zitandukanye. Nishimwe Honore, iyi ni Mama Rwagasabo TV, mugira amahoro.
Paul Kagame, President of the Republic of Rwanda, Your Excellency, Madame Jeannette Kagame, First Lady of the Republic of Rwanda, Honorable Ministers, Your Excellencies, Ambassadors, High Commissioners, and Heads of Diplomatic Missions, Heads of Regional and International Organizations, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the diplomatic community, and indeed on my own behalf, it is my distinct privilege and honor to express our gratitude to you, Your Excellency, President Paul Kagame, and the First Lady, Madame Jeannette Kagame, for hosting us today. Your Excellency, the year 2025 was a productive one, marked by significant milestones for the Republic of Rwanda and the diplomatic community. Throughout the year 2025, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation kept us abreast of national, regional, continental, and international developments. We are grateful for the regular briefings. I join in Minafet to congratulate all ambassadors and high commissioners who have presented their credentials this 2025-2026 period. Thank you, Rwanda, for continuing to increase the diplomatic space. Your Excellency and distinguished guests, in the same spirit, we convey our appreciation for the opportunity accorded to us to participate at the National Umushyikirano Council. That is the national dialogue held in February 2026. This enabled us to witness firsthand the national leadership engaging Rwandan citizens from all walks of life on key development priorities. We congratulate Rwanda for successfully hosting the landmark UCI Road World Championships in September 2025, hosted for the first time in Africa. And the annual Tour du Rwanda 2025 and 2026, we just ended last week. Congratulations also for the wonderful Kwica Gorilla Naming Ceremony 2025. We always look forward to this amazing annual event. Beautiful ceremony always. We also congratulate Rwanda for the various infrastructural development projects which are transforming the lives of the people of Rwanda, enhancing sustainable development, and promoting regional integration. We also thank Rwanda's warm hospitality experienced by all diplomats in the beautiful land of 1,000 hills. Distinguished guests, with these few remarks, allow me, on behalf of the diplomatic community, and indeed on my own behalf, to wish you, Your Excellency, President Paul Kagame, and the First Lady, Madame Jeannette Kagame, and indeed all of us, a bountiful and prosperous 2026. We wish the Republic of Rwanda continued peace and prosperity and continued friendship between our nations and the Republic of Rwanda. I thank you all for your kind attention.
Excellencies, ambassadors, and high commissioners, representatives of the international organizations, members of the Consular Corps, senior government officials, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're having a good evening. It is, as always, a pleasure to have you here. What we have built together over many years and across different sectors with the country partners you represent and the different organizations is remarkable. Our collaboration and friendship have been vital to Rwanda's revival and development. We do not take this lightly, and I thank you for it. Nowadays, none of us can afford to be indifferent to geopolitical trends. Whether or not you believe that there was a rules-based international order, it is clear that changes are underway which will affect all of us. It is predictable that Rwanda, even as a small country, is caught up in the middle in its own way. One thing that has not changed, however, is that right and duty of every nation to ensure the safety of its borders and people. It is that duty that never changes. Rwanda is no exception. And yet, for reasons that continue to elude us, Rwanda is consistently asked to ignore threats to its security and compromise its national defense. The conflict in eastern DRC is not new. It's neither new nor is it too difficult to understand. It has been prolonged for decades due to neglect and complacency, notably by those with the power to make the biggest difference in resolving it. Rwanda's security concerns stem from the continued presence of the FDLR and its violent extremist ideology, which is the ideology of genocide. Unfortunately, that seems to have some backers in the region and beyond. under all kinds of guises. In the late 1990s, cross-border attacks by this militia from the territory of DRC claimed thousands of lives inside Rwanda. The Congolese government has provided political cover and financial support to FDLR and integrated this group into its military structures, from where it now operates with total impunity. They attacked Rwanda on multiple occasions. Some countries issued travel advisories as a result. And lately, the son of the former leader of Rwanda, who led this country into genocide, and other close collaborators of his, have been visiting Kinshasa in order to deepen the alliance with FDLR, and they have more or less openly been welcomed there. We have consistently raised these issues in every relevant forum and directly to many of you here. But each time, the root causes and structural drivers of this conflict are dismissed in favor of short-term measures and interests. Rwanda, because of its history and its geography, requires defensive borders. Our defensive measures are aimed at this objective and nothing else. FDLR is far from being a spent force, as I have mentioned earlier. In fact, its genocide ideology has been spread to other armed groups, which also target Congolese Tutsi and other communities. By definition, a signed peace agreement should bind all parties equally, and implementation should follow the text. However, this has not been our experience. It's not the case. What we see instead is that one party is expected to carry almost the whole burden. For instance, the Washington Accords clearly set a ceasefire, acknowledged each party's security concerns, and laid out a roadmap for action. Yet, even as the discussions progressed, there was a visible and sustainable military build-up followed by action in eastern DRC. Thousands of Burundian troops and government-affiliated militias consolidated offensive positions, imposed a blockade on civilian communities, and launched relentless ground and aerial strikes in South Kivu. The Congolese government's intent was to shift the balance through force outside the parameters of the ongoing peace negotiations. That is how the events in Uvira came to unfold. Rwanda has and had raised the alarm for months. Yet, the aftermath was presented as a single-point narrative detached from the reality on the ground. The blame was, as we have come to expect, blamed and placed exclusively on Rwanda. This selective pressure has only emboldened the Congolese government and all its affiliated genocidal elements to resume military action. I'm not asking you to agree with every decision that Rwanda has made, but we do ask that you hold all parties to the same standard. As things stand, Rwanda faces an impossible choice to either tolerate the continued presence of the FDLR and its growing network of militias and allow them to grow closer to our border, or to defend ourselves and be condemned for it. The choice is therefore very clear. In our position, would any other country make a different choice? And any condemnation that comes, by the way, is a badge of honor for our security forces. That honor is not something that can easily be washed away by rain or shine or whatever. It is part of us. It will remain so in good and bad times. But make no mistake, Rwanda wants peace. But we want a genuine and lasting peace on which we can build our future prosperity. We want to leave the bad politics of the past behind us forever. Rwanda is ready to lift its defensive measures in tandem with the DRC fulfilling its obligations under the Washington Accords. By the way, these accords I'm talking about, the Washington Accords, there are actually 3 parties concerned. The 2 are, 1, Rwanda, and DRC, of course. But the 3rd is United States, the country that hosted us, that brokered this process. They are part of it. So to have 3 parties to this process, and you expect only one to fulfill its side of obligations, I'm not sure what we should expect from that. And so that's where we are, in a sense, caught up in that. If fully implemented, this agreement will provide all parties the security that they need and they deserve, and lay the groundwork for mutually beneficial economic cooperation. Many of you here have worked with us for a very long time, and you know that you can trust us. We are reliable. We say what we do, and we do what we say. Our partnerships have borne fruit precisely because we have had an effective security policy in place continuously for the past 3 decades. Rwanda is strong and strong enough in our own circumstances. And precisely because we consider ourselves vulnerable to ideologies of violence, of violent ethnic extremism, particularly when they benefit from direct or indirect state support. We have made a promise to ourselves to never go back to the dark days that darkness, we can't go back. And that is not something we will waver from. Before I propose a toast, I had a few things in addition to this, that I wanted to share with you. Contextualizing further the sort of complication and dilemma we face in all this. And we also understand it in a much wider context of the world we live in. There's the world of the past, and kept changing over time, and the world keeps changing. And in many instances, unpredictably. But people have to stay the course for what they want to mean and do for themselves. And that's where Rwanda is. A couple of things. Do you know those moments when you had to rest of your sleep? That moment in between when you are still awake and when the sleep is coming in, caught up in the middle. That space, some of us encounter people in our thoughts, and we have conversations. It's not dreaming, it's not in between. Some of those moments, I met some people, and they brought up this subject. It was like Paul, you are not Christian enough. Why? And that is supposed to, if I was Christian enough, it is supposed to solve my problems. Because I'm not Christian enough, in this person's mind, it is supposed to create problems for me. But I asked this person, I said, what is enough? How enough do you want me to be Christian? First, I'm called Paul. I think by that name, am I not Christian? Second, I told the person a bit of my story and history. That my parents were very good Christians. In fact, they used to share part of their limited wealth with the church. I'm supposed to be Catholic, side of Christianity. They gave a lot of their resources to the church. So I said, I'm called Paul. My parents were very close to the church, so I'm supposed to be Christian enough. And the person was not convinced. And I said, I'm also, much as I'm a Christian and you think it's not enough, I can't claim to be a preacher. You don't hold Bibles and move around teaching people, because that's, God didn't allocated me, assigned me a responsibility that is different from that. So, not being Christian enough has also caused me problems. But I said, I have seen people who, I was telling that person, who claim to be that level of Christian that I am not. In the morning, they're out there shouting and yelling and doing things. In the evening, they go visiting witch doctors. I said, how do the two go together? So in other words, I was telling this person that actually some of them also tell lies under the cover of what they claim to be. And they end up not being Christian enough as they thought I was, meaning not Christian enough. So that is something they needed to think about. No pretense, no, and everyone should be what they want to be. And there are other measures you can use to test the value of people. Then, in another conversation, it was, okay, put aside the Christian part. Your country, Rwanda, is not wealthy enough. You don't have enough of the resources that the world needs, whether they are minerals or forests or all kinds of things. So then I said, okay, but do I also have to face penalties for not being wealthy enough? I said, what do people do to become wealthy that I didn't do, that constitute an offense? First, I was told I was not Christian enough. Second, I'm being told I'm not wealthy enough, meaning my country. So which means the combination of two should cause some of us problems. Should cause me as a person or Rwanda as a country problems. in other people's judgment. But since when did these become criteria for people being right or wrong? Or to the point that you deserve no attention from anybody. In fact, I wish I didn't get attention from such a people. That's so good. It means you do your business, I do my business. And I don't need that kind of attention. Nobody needs it. The kind of attention that reminds you that you're not this enough, you're not that enough. But that means you're paying attention to me. Maybe the less attention you pay, the better for me and maybe for you, because why should you waste your time thinking about me? Right. As I continued, one evening I was bored and consulted some of these agents of AI, the artificial intelligence, put in some thoughts and questions, and I won't tell you what I was asking. I'll tell you the answer. Given what I was asking, and the answer came out as, let me read it for you. In the jungle, a lion king coveted a plush deer, grazing unaware. The deer, blinded by sweet grass, didn't see the jaws closing in. Meanwhile, a wise old tortoise stood tall, accused of eating the king's crops. Crops the king knew were devoured by his own pride. The deer fell to the king's greed. The tortoise, shoulders burdened, faced the hungry shadows, dignified. The jungle whispered. One met the king's desire, the other his blame. That's where we are, but we will have our shoulders burdened and remain dignified. Thank you.